Back. So, I just recorded me on the floor dancing for the first time since I injured my knee. Yeah, that was, well, it was exactly what it is. It's exactly what that story is. Because Earth Dance always starts, the class itself, we've used the same song since the very first time that we ever did it, and I have never ever changed this song, which is Reel Around the Sun. It's from Riverdance. The story that we always do at the end of Earth Dance, once we've gone through all the different aspects of it, is the seed into sprouting and growing, and trunk or the stem shooting up above the earth, and then all the things branching out and flowering and blooming and fruiting and leafing out, and then having its full wonderful life cycle, and then at the very end of all the feeding frenzy, and then it ends, and then it exhales, and the whole thing comes back down and down and down gradually. And of course, we go through the full life cycle, which includes the decline and death and going back into the earth to nourish the next life. And when we do this in the class, it's my favorite part of the class. And I do it along with everybody else, so I'm in my moment too. And of course, in the flourishing part, we're all communicating and interacting, and it's really, really wonderful. And then, of course, as we all start choosing our own time to drop out and to die and decline, some people do it before the music does. And some people take a really long time to come out of their seeds, and that's the whole wonderfulness about this particular assignment, if you will, or exploration that we do at the end of Earth Dance, is just noticing how different everybody does it and how different it is for me every single time that I do it. Like I said, we've used the same song every single Earth Dance that I've ever taught, no matter if I teach the whole elements cycle in 2 hours or if I teach it over the course of 6 weeks. So there's the 5 elements: earth, then air, fire, water, metal, and then the whole thing is that final culmination where we put them all together on the 6th week or the 6th hour or the very last part of the 2 hours. No matter how fast we do it, that song is always a part of the Earth Dance, and it's different every single time that I do it, and it is completely dependent on where I'm at and who I've been just spending this time doing Earth Dance with, and where they're at and what they're giving me, and how we're interacting. And it might actually be my favorite part of the entire elements cycle, now that I think about it. That, the end, when we start putting it all together and I see the light bulbs going off of, oh my God, now I get viscerally why you do what you do. Why do you pick this move? Why do you, how that it's a very, very right-brained, very just big concept way of teaching how I dance, why I dance the way that I do, and how I put it all together, instead of technique and choreography concepts and all these linear ways of teaching, which I love to do too. But this very, very abstract right brain and very visceral body-based way of teaching is this little moment that we have in Earth Dance is one of my favorites, because it's so individual, and it's so everybody's journey that they're doing, and each of the elements has these moments in it. But this is a particular favorite of mine. I think probably because Earth was the hardest for me to do. When I first started doing elements,
Oh gosh. Yeah, I guess we'll just get into the story here. No. Okay. We can tell that story another time.
Okay. Focus. One thing at a time. Okay, ooh, shiny. And we're back. So, earth dance. Grounding, yeah. You would think that air would probably be really easy for me too. No, it was earth and air that were really, really difficult for me. And I think that's probably why earth has become one of my favorite parts of the whole cycle, because I needed it so badly and I still need it so badly. It's something that I really work with a lot. And sometimes I struggle with it a lot because really, I'm a fire sign, man. And then I'm over here, and then I'm like, So, earth, yeah, earth is really good for me. so, so in preparation to do this big earth dance thing, I went downstairs and I went through all of my costumes. I went through all of my clothing, all my props, all my everything. And at my last place where I lived, I didn't have enough closet space, so I made a closet in the second bedroom, and just got some rolly
Brains. Buffering.
coat rack thingies, and they roll. Anyway, words. Why can't I be typing them? I have an entire rack of earth dance costumes, earth dance clothing, etc. Because my intention here was to get up every morning and, now that the earth dance had been choreographed and mapped out and storyboarded, and I knew all the locations and I knew the specific parts that were improv, the specific parts that were choreographed, etc. And I had just started filming it that day. I was going to go to the beach that day and film on the sand. That's the opening of it, is out there on the sand in the dirt. And well, then I get all the way up here and I see that there's like no sunlight out there, and oh yeah, we're supposed to get thunderstorms any moment now, and I can see the raindrops starting. So I'm like, oh, seriously? Fine. So I went back downstairs and I put on a different costume, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to use my brandy new backdrop. Yay! So I put on the lights. Backdrop was there. I put out the board, the big, my big board that I used to practice on while I was taking Mexican folklorico, and that was my practice board for my heels. So I took it out, and I had my handy dandy heels on, and I was doing the part of stone with the heels, all the rat-tapping and hard style of earth footwork. Yeah, and I went and did one little skirt flourish with my foot. It's in the direction that's opposite of how I injured it originally. It was always if I turned my leg out. This one was turning the leg in to go whoop with my skirt. And that was it. And the whole thing just went crunch. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't even try to stand on that. It was like poof, down to the ground. Okay, Phoenix mode again. And we're in ashes. So I had to peel off all my costumes. There I am, like sweating like a pig there and going, oh, I can't walk now. And yeah, so I peeled them all off right there in the studio. They're still actually sitting right over there. Yeah, in the little earth dance that I just did. There they are. So I went downstairs. Well, I dragged myself over to the stairs and dragged myself down the stairs. And let me tell you, until I got that chair in the kitchen, that was actually one of the easiest parts of getting around this house. Because I don't actually have a walker. I don't have crutches yet. That's all we're going to say about that. Thank goodness I had just done my laundry and brought the baskets in, and I hadn't put anything away, because there was my clothing, thank goodness, on the floor. So I tossed on my clothing. Dragged myself back upstairs again, and that's been my adventure here for 3 days.
So I'm going to do a couple different closings because, I know that this is going to be multiple blog posts. Blog posts.
Yes. So I'm going to sign off now. Oh, with my teeth. Yeah. Jeez, Gromit. Jeez.